Let's dive right into this explainer and unravel what is, frankly, the biggest paradox of the NBA offseason. Picture this. It's August 2026, the dust is settled, rosters are totally locked in, and yet, a former MVP is inexplicably sitting at home without a contract. If you've been tracking the offseason, you know the landscape is pretty much set, but one of the most famous guys in the world is just waiting in the wings. So, we're going to unpack exactly how this situation is not at all what it seems on the surface.
It is literally the exact question on every single basketball fan's mind right now. Why on earth is James Harden still without a team? I mean, he's turning 37 this month. Is the league just finally done with him? Are front offices too scared to offer a long-term big money contract to an aging star? If you look at the narrative swirling around social media, you'd probably think nobody wants the guy. But actually, scratch that. As we're about to see, this is absolutely not a case of a disappearing market. It's actually a brilliant, highly calculated front office scheme hiding right in plain sight.
Part 1. The Unsigned MVP Mystery. Okay, to really understand this mystery, we've got to look back at how we even got here. Remember, Harden was a massive mid-season pickup for Cleveland. They got him from the Clippers at the trade deadline for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Cleveland desperately wanted a veteran guard to pair with Donovan Mitchell for a deep playoff run, and honestly, his impact was undeniable. Looking at these numbers, it completely debunks that whole washed-up myth. In his 26 regular season games with the Cavs, he averaged over 20 points, nearly 8 assists, and shot a blistering 43.5% from beyond the arc. I mean, he gave Cleveland this incredibly reliable three-point threat that totally stretched opposing defenses and helped push them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, to be clear, him lacking a contract right now in August has absolutely zero to do with poor play. He proved without a doubt he can still operate at a very high level.
Part 2. Declining $42 million.
The mystery gets even deeper when we rewind to the very start of the summer. $42.3 million. That is the massive player option James Harden actively declined in late June. Now sure, it's worth noting he only had about $13.3 million of that guaranteed, but still, walking away from an option of that magnitude at age 36, that is incredibly rare. You just don't do that unless you have absolute certainty about your future. He took a massive leap of faith. Or actually, it's more like he made a highly calculated move, working in total lockstep with the Cavaliers front office to negotiate a multi-year deal at a significantly lower annual salary.
Which brings us to the very first major clue in our investigation. NBA reporter Evan Siddery recently revealed that Harden and the Cavaliers actually already have an agreement in place. It is a done deal. But they're deliberately stalling the paperwork. Ramona Shelburne over at ESPN reported the exact same thing. Harden is intentionally giving Cleveland's front office a wide berth to operate here. So this isn't some stalled, tense negotiation. It is a highly strategic pause.
Part 3. The Second Apron Strategy.
So, to truly grasp why they are stalling the paperwork, we have to talk about the nerdy but absolutely crucial NBA financial mechanics dictating this whole weird timeline. It all revolves around a concept that pretty much strikes fear into the hearts of NBA general managers everywhere, the second apron. It's this hyper-strict salary cap threshold. If a team crosses it, their ability to make trades, sign free agents, or just maneuver in any meaningful way is severely, almost punitively limited. But right now, with James Harden's new salary temporarily off the books, Cleveland is sitting pretty. They are about $42 million below this dreaded threshold. And in today's NBA, that $42 million gap, that is a golden ticket of flexibility.
And this brilliantly illustrates the front office's dilemma. If Harden signs his new deal today, poof, that $42 million in cap space instantly evaporates and the roster is frozen exactly as it is. But if he waits, the Cavaliers retain all their maneuverability. They can execute trades, take back specific salaries, and actually build out their roster. By simply choosing to not sign a piece of paper just yet, James Harden is functioning as Cleveland's ultimate financial escape valve.
Part 4. The Peyton Watson Pivot.
So what exactly is Cleveland planning to do with this golden ticket? Well, they are hunting for a major roster upgrade, and the specific target in their crosshairs is Peyton Watson. He is basically the perfect long-term puzzle piece for this Cavs team. He's only 23 years old, a 6'8" two-way wing who just broke out in his 4th NBA season, starting 40 games for Denver. And the stats show exactly why Cleveland wants him. Almost 15 points per game, shooting over 41% from 3, and playing elite defense with over a block a game. Remember, Cleveland tried so hard to bring LeBron James home this summer for this exact wing spot. They even got his only in-person meeting. But LeBron chose the 76ers, so now they've pivoted to Watson, a guy a full decade younger than Harden who can grow right alongside Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley.
But
there's always a catch, right? Here is the major complication. Watson is a restricted free agent. That means the Denver Nuggets have the right to match literally any offer sheet another team throws at him. And frankly, the Cavaliers don't have the outright cap space to just sign him to some massive unmatchable offer sheet anyway. Denver offered Watson 5 years and roughly $70 million, but Watson's camp wants more. So how on earth does Cleveland pry him away?
Part 5. Making the math work.
Well, to get him, they have to execute a seriously complex sign-and-trade. It's kind of like a heist movie, but with NBA cap space. Here is exactly how the math works. Step 1, Denver, who by the way is also terrified of the second apron, has to lower their trade demands. At first, they wanted a massive package of picks, but now reports are saying they've dropped their asks to just a quality rotation player and a single first-round pick. Step 2, Cleveland capitalizes on this by offering exactly that. They'll move either Max Strus or Dennis Schroeder plus that draft compensation in a sign-in trade. And finally, step 3, once the dust settles and Watson is secured in a Cavs uniform, then James Harden officially signs his multi-year deal, calibrating his starting salary to perfectly fit whatever room Cleveland has left.
Now, of course, smart front offices always have backup plans. If this incredibly complex sign-and-trade math for Watson completely falls apart, Cleveland definitely has alternative targets on their radar. Watson is the absolute primary goal, but they're also keeping very close tabs on Jonathan Kuminga, who they're actually battling the Lakers for right now in a totally separate sign-and-trade standoff. They're also looking at unrestricted free agent DeMar DeRozan, though he's drawing heavy interest from Miami, Washington, and Denver. So Cleveland is smartly keeping all their options open and exploring literally every permutation on the wing market.
But honestly, no matter which wing they ultimately land, James Harden is the absolute linchpin of this entire summer. The literal moment his signature lands on that contract, the final shape of the Cavaliers' roster flexibility snaps right into place and all the dominoes fall. The final size of his deal is going to tell us exactly how Cleveland played their cards. It really is a masterclass in front office maneuvering and player cooperation.
So we're all left to wonder, is this intricate $42 million offseason gamble actually going to pay off? Will Harden's strategic waiting game land that final missing piece, like a Peyton Watson, that pushes the Cavaliers over the top and finally brings another championship back to Cleveland? I mean, it is absolutely one of the smartest cap maneuvers we've seen in a long time, but the ultimate test is going to be what happens on the hardwood this fall. Keep your eyes glued to the transaction wire, folks, because the second Harden signs, you will know exactly what Cleveland's master plan looks like.